I never thought that I could feed my family without a grocery. And now we're planning a huge kitchen garden that should give us at least 50% of all of our fruits and vegetables. And that is amazing. So, first of all, we just moved out here 6 months ago. So, nothing is really set up out here, especially because we've had other issues that we're trying to deal with. But we are definitely in the planning stages of planning our huge garden, and we're very excited. This garden is going to be my goal for it is to basically grow all of our vegetables, if not 90% of it, but I will settle for at least 50%. But to start off, it is going to be a 16 bed, 16 8 by 4 garden beds right next to my home. So I'll be able to look out my living room or bedroom window and see all my veggies and right away, because that's the first thing. Once you start gardening, the first thing in the morning that you want to do is go look at your fruits and go look at your vegetables and go look at your garden and see what happened during the night and how everything's doing and what beautiful little tomato popped up overnight. So we're very excited. I'm excited that it's going to be so close that I'll be able to look right out the window and see it. And I'm also excited that it's going to be huge. I'm going to have, I mean, the most garden beds I've ever had were four, two of them being vertical. But now I'm going to be having 16 raised garden beds, 8 by 4. And that is not counting the two garden towers that I still have. And I plan to be growing. My goal for those are to grow strawberries and greens. But I'm very excited. And also, it's not counting any other little extra stuff that I might add. So 16 is just the 8 by 4. I also have two by two like circular raised garden beds. And then I think I got one more like long 2 by 8 garden bed as well. So it's pretty big. I mean, for me, it's huge, especially coming from the suburbs. So we're very excited. I've planned it out. I did a lot of math and like I don't have it all on me right now, but I did a lot of math and trying to plan out kind of what my family actually eats and about how many garden beds we needed to start with. So 16 is what we landed on. Of course, my husband says there's always going to be the possibility of if we need be growing our garden. And we'll see how that goes. And the nice thing about Arizona is that you can pretty much garden year round, which is amazing. And you don't get that in a lot of other places. You only get a couple of months here in the year. But here, I can garden all year. So 16 garden beds feels even more. And they could, because they can be so much more productive because they're going to be producing food for me all year. So that's very exciting. And I um I wanted to tell you a couple things that you need to consider if you are planning a garden, especially a big one like this, because it's going to be such a huge project that you don't really want to miss a lot of things. So, the first thing I would say is if you're considering a garden, you got to figure out whether what kind of beds you want. Do you want to do in ground? You can do dug in, but if you do that, like dug, like garden beds in the ground, but like you kind of dig into a basin so that you can absorb the water better. If you want to do that, then you have to really think about if you're going to be okay having that soil because the soil in Arizona is not the most friendly. It does have nutrients, but it is very hard for plants to access those nutrients because it doesn't have a lot of biological matter on it. So it can be very tough for a lot of plants. But if you're okay with planting more native plants and sticking to things that are just grow well in this type of soil, then that is an option for you. Otherwise, raised beds I think are a great option out here because they just make a great little environment for you to be able to grow your plants. Another thing to consider is shade. Now, one of the reasons we're doing the garden right next to my house is because in the afternoon, my home produces a really nice shade on that side of my house. Um, and we are planning to make use of that shade by planting all of our vegetables there so that in this Arizona heat and in this Arizona hot sun, my vegetables will all get that nice morning sun while also getting that afternoon shade to cover them and protect them, and hopefully get a lot less burned up tomatoes like I have in the past. So another thing to consider is what kind of watering. Are you going to be doing hand watering? Because I'm going to tell you, 16 garden beds, if you're doing one or two, something. But if you're doing 16 garden beds and you have fruit trees and all kinds of things, that it gets really exhausting really quickly, especially in Arizona where it is such an unforgiving environment that you literally cannot miss a day because your plants will die. I literally have gone out one day and I forgot to water plants and then they died. Now, the ideal situation and what we're going to be doing is doing a drip line. So watering, we're going to be doing an entire watering system for the whole garden. So I will definitely be sharing about that when we install it. And it's going to just be on an automatic, little timer, and it's going to be pretty much automatic. I've done that before. We did that in our last home and it was so nice. That's when I realized that I can actually garden, is when I realized that I'm not a bad gardener. I'm just a bad waterer. So yeah, it's if I can make my husband do that, all of the watering system stuff, I can keep planting stuff and it'll stay alive as long as I keep giving it a little bit of love and TLC, which I don't mind at all. And lastly, I wanted to ask, what are you up to in your garden right now? Do you have any interesting garden plans? Are you starting a new garden, or do you have your dream garden right now? Let me know below in a comment. I'll see you next time.